Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John, here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello. Gary's talking about deja vu. What the hell does he think we've got?
Wow, yeah.
Here we are again.
Yeah.
You can turn off the podcast now, listeners, if you want, because you've heard it all before. This is frankly embarrassing all round.
It is. We're getting ourselves into a right pickle.
Argyle fans feel sorry for us. Sorry for us. They pity us.
Yeah. Torquay are laughing.
Even Torquay are laughing. What the hell? If you missed it, it was Port Vale at home. The team with the second worst form in the top 4 leagues. Playing us. The team with the worst form in the top 6 leagues. They beat us 1-0.
Well, that tracks, doesn't it?
I mean, that follows.
Port Vale fans after the match, astounded.
Livid on our behalf.
At how they were like, we played terribly. And they took all 3 points.
Yeah, but I can't believe it.
So let's start with the game.
Must we? Once was enough for me.
So let's start with this. Now you've mentioned him.
All right.
Muskie
Yes.
is
Good.
He has gone back to Luton, not returned, but because he's injured again.
Injured.
He is going to go down, I think, as one of the. He's really going to be that's going to be one of the worst loan signings. People think Nicky Jose got a bad,
Yeah,
run of
right.
it.
Oh, what I'd give for a Jose.
He could still play, still at the club.
Oh, Nicky.
Stick him in there. He's literally younger than like some of the people we play against.
Oh, no.
I know he can't play on a 3G pitch or whatever, but like,
It's grass, it's soft.
I'd get him in there.
Get him in there.
No one's even suggested that.
That would be
People are on about bringing Jamie Curitan back. Jose's like 5 years younger.
slightly less successful for the football club.
Good player. Always rated him. Listen back if you like.
Go
back and
this
find
is
some
how
old
far we've
episodes.
sunk.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know it's mad, isn't it, how it kind of rehabilitates so many past characters. Bowman,
Yeah.
a Jose.
Yeah.
What we wouldn't give now for a...
Who was that fella, Donovan?
Donovan Wilson.
Donovan Wilson. Come on back.
Yeah.
He scored one good goal. Yeah. So it was embarrassing. And so we were just talking about this before we recorded. The passing, the jobs Gary Colwell's asked those players to do, they did better than in recent weeks on Saturday. As in, there were less mistakes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yep, I go along with
But
that.
it just shows that the system is absolutely awful.
Yeah, so this comes into the kind of the reaction after the match that lots of people, Colwell and some other people saying, oh, yeah, we were better.
Yep.
We lost 1-0 at home to the second worst team in the league.
In the country.
It kind of doesn't matter if we did a few of the little, within the system did a few of the things a bit better because we lost. What are you talking about? I think what people are getting frustrated with mostly, I think it's gone on so long now, it's kind of getting to, like you said, joke / sympathy kind of levels.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
That it's like, it's not really... the thing people are frustrated with is that when he's not trying anything else, just do something different. What point does it become worth a go to kind of like really switch things up? We've had all these kind of big gaps where we thought, okay, 10 days or an international break here,
Yep.
2 weeks, where we thought like that'd be a good time to sack him. Could have got someone else in there, but also okay, but they've gone no, that's a good chance to kind of get on the training pitch. It's like.
I've got to stop hearing about the training pitch, by the way.
Yeah, well, they got a nice training pitch. Might as well talk about it,
Yep.
But, like, you're right, you got this time with the training pitch. Have a go at something else.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion, that there's a lot of good players in our squad.
Agreed.
I think that they're decent, and I think we've seen them play well. I even think... I'm not totally convinced on this, that there's a possibility that there's some use in players like James Scott,
Okay.
But the system isn't serving anybody,
Nobody.
and it's just. Yeah, it's appalling, and I don't understand really why we haven't gone because we've seen all these players play really well. You know, Zach Jules got man of the match on Saturday, but you know he didn't do anything.
I mean, getting the man of the match.
But we've seen him play really well. We've seen Jack Aitchison play really well. We've seen all of them do really good games. You know.
Well, how demoralising for them lot. Because okay, some of them, Rankin and Sinisalo, are up and coming players. They haven't really got to. I'm not suggesting they're not performing because it doesn't matter to them. But it's not really going to affect their career.
Well, that's the stakes with some of the signings we've made and the types of player we brought in. The stakes are significantly lower than if we'd brought in players on longer contracts or kept other players and signed to longer deals. You mean because if you're on loan from a bigger team, or if you're a kind of player on a 1-year deal. Come to the end of this season, it ain't going to affect you, is it? You're still Tom Carroll will still be able to get
a League One
club.
Yeah,
Dion Rankin just goes back to Chelsea and then maybe gets loaned out to another, whatever League One. It doesn't matter. So and because everything's going so badly, it's not like you're going to look any worse than anyone else.
No.
So you can easily just go like, oh yeah, we had a kind of like bad manager playing a weird system that didn't suit me, or so the stakes are a bit lower for a lot of the players in there, and that's the risk of signing players on those types of deals. I mean, that's always the thing, isn't it? You buy loan players, why would they care as much? I mean that's not always the case. Look at Sinisalo, he's one of the he's
a rare moment of
well, he's just kind of like made a good account for himself. I'm not saying that the attitude of the players is wrong at all. I'm really not. I just think his is kind of exceptional, his attitude,
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I mean, I also think he systematically dismantled this like pathway to first team football for our academy players. Like,
well, the other thing is a lot of them, we had a lot of credit in the bank, have now been kind of frozen out of the team.
Yeah.
Because either they can't play the system he wants, or they've kind of like, or it's not worked out for them like that. Like, did I say last week? I really miss Matt Taylor era Alex Hartridge, which was, and I know he still had his moments of patchy form and whatnot, but when all he was really being asked to do was header it away or kind of chip it into the channel.
Yeah.
Sometimes he looked like like he was going to be the next kind of Jordan Story or someone like that.
Yeah.
Now he can't even get in the squad because he can't consistently play in this kind of way that Colwood seems kind of like unwilling to shift from.
I mean, the whole thing has lost any sense of process. Like, we've all said all along, like you and I particularly, but most supporters, we like some of the qualities that Exeter City has had over the last 20 years. Like, we like that supporter owned. We'll come back to that in a minute. We like that we don't automatically sack managers. Well, as we've all said all along, we became like that because Tisdale was so good for us. But we've valued these qualities.
And Matt Taylor.
But you get to the point where you're like, what the hell is the process here? Like, this isn't... like there's some championship teams, Fulham are quite a good example of this, where they were well aware of the parachute payment thing. So they think like, okay, we've got a 5-year plan here, which is we may go up now. And if we do, that gives us the parachute payments, which means we build up for the second time through. So there's obviously no one wants relegation, but they can spin relegation for it to be useful for them. There's no use in getting relegated from League One to League Two. Like, there's not like these parachute payments. It's not like we're stretching ourselves too much by being in League One. We're not. We're perfectly well fitting into this system, this league. So then you're like, okay, well, what's the plan here? Like, literally, what's the plan? And it feels like Colwell's got no plan.
Well, actually, it's quite a challenge to kind of sustain yourself as League One. And we were going about it the right way. But we're in danger of kind of like jettisoning the entire thing, aren't we?
Well, we'll be back.
In terms of like money, in terms of people's goodwill. Everything.
Yeah, it's loopy. But I also feel like Colwell can't have any sense of what his purpose is, because he's obviously got no plans. He's obviously not like, okay, well, I'm a coach who understands that you play this way if you can, you play this way if you can't, this is another option. He's obviously got one plan, because if he doesn't have, there's no way he's got any other plans, because you'd do it, wouldn't you, after 11 games?
This is just the most bizarre thing about it. I think people would have more sympathy if it appeared like we were trying to address the form. Whereas it just doesn't. It's just like every week, it's like, how many 1-0 home defeats have we had? You know, again, and it's just like, the pattern is the same every time. I actually thought Port Vale made more attempt to attack once they were 1-0 up than some other teams have. But they didn't need to.
What was embarrassing with Port Vale was there were a couple of times when we had possession near the box. In fact, straight from their goal, it came directly after we had quite a lot of possession up front. They just ran straight down the other end and scored. And then the same thing happened in the second half. We had a bit of pressure towards the end of the game. It ran on the other end and nearly scored. And you think,
oh, yeah, 1 minute's our corner and the next minute they're down the other end. Yeah.
It's literally falling apart. And I think it's doing no one any favours. I honestly believe, I think it would be easier for Colwell if he got sacked. Because he's clearly got no plans.
I think it's odd because if you take I was going to make a supercut of this, but I couldn't be bothered.
Supercuts, the place that used to cut your hair in, the Harlequins.
Oh, no, I hadn't thought of that. What was that called? That was it. That's on the Mod kind of barber shop.
No, not that. That still exists on Carrick Street. No, there was this place called Supercuts, and it was like very specific amounts of money for specific haircuts.
Women's.
You have a woman's haircut. No, I think women's and men's.
Oh, right.
But it would be like...
unisex.
Sure.
Bisexual.
No. Oh. That's something else. Anyway, Supercuts. What were you going to do?
In his post-match interview, Club won. After the 0-0 with Stevenage.
Yeah.
No, Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
Colbert was saying that the attackers were shooting when they should be making another pass.
Right.
And this week's club interview, post-match interview, he said that they needed to take that they were taking too many passes when they should be shooting. It's like, which one is it, Gary?
Well, if he's saying that to us, the players must be just as confused.
Yeah.
I just feel like no one's benefiting from this.
No. So at the end of the match, no point really talking about it, is there really much more of the football?
No.
The goal was bad. It might have been offside, but you can't live and die on those things. We don't have VAR, for which some of us are glad. And, you win some, you lose some. On very specific occasions, you are robbed, but on the whole, it's about right. I don't think anyone, even if it was offside, anyone's really complaining that the refs cost us the game, particularly.
No.
So Aimson also got sent off at the end.
For a stupid second yellow.
2 stupid yellows, really.
I mean, is that him throwing in the towel? You got to think like that.
I don't know. There's certain players in there that I think, and then obviously there's there's the increasing kind of like vocal unrest of the crowd. The "We want Coldwell out" chants at the end of the Shrewsbury game only came at full time and were not insignificant, but by no means you wouldn't call it a majority of the stadium. Maybe there is some people doing it, but it wasn't everyone. This time, the minute we went 1-0 down, they started, and they carried on basically for the rest of the game, and more people joining in to the point where I'd say it was the majority of the Big Bank, and the rest of the stands don't really sing anything, do they? So
no, I'd agree with that.
And then he came over around clapping the fans, and they're doing it right in his face and booing him right in his face.
You boo me right in my face.
Yeah. And it's bad, isn't it? That's what you call toxic.
I mean, it is
toxic atmosphere.
So
that can't be good, can it?
Honestly, and I won't surprise anyone listening because I imagine you all feel the same. I'm stopped looking at Gary Coldwell and I started looking at the people above him.
And well, this is what happens.
Because there's no good reason to keep him on.
So here's my only theory.
Yeah.
And this is what I can only assume is going on. They think, or the board or the boards or whoever is partially or wholly responsible for us not signing adequate attacking players in the
Yep.
summer.
Yep.
And then, so therefore, they feel like they can't sack Gary Caldwell because they're culpable. However, that right kind of repinges on the belief that you think that if we had a good striker playing, that the results would be different. And I don't think I do think that.
I certainly don't think that.
I don't think we've seen any evidence that if there was just someone else there, it's not like we're playing with 10 men. Someone is playing that position. Jack Aitchison's played that position. Czech Diabate's played in that position. Admiral Musgrave's played there. James Scott's played there. These are forward Czech aside. These are strikers. They are forward players. It's not like they're getting it and then, not doing very... I mean, Yannick Wildschut, you could argue, is sort of doing that because he seems to get in these positions and then sort of pass it rather than shoot.
Yeah.
Like pass it as a shot.
Yes.
But baffling. But we're not really making any opportunities.
I mean, Gary Caldwell keeps saying...
We are making some. I think we had like a 1.4 XG or something. So
we had the ball in the box a few times, didn't we? Gary Caldwell has said a number of times the players just need to rediscover the form that they had at the beginning of the season. So this is obviously what's in his mind is saving him.
I don't buy this
Nor
form
do
at the
I.
beginning of the season at all. I just think that we caught a few teams by surprise by playing the way we do. And the minute we were worked out, then we became very simple to play against.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there's the departure of Nombe, which, he wasn't replaced. But Nombe is an exceptional striker at our level. Like, whether he's scoring or not, he's a real presence. We've said it 100 times. He makes his presence felt. He influences the team. It helps Exeter City win football matches, right? Now, he was doing that as best he could, but he didn't score the whole of this season for those 6 games he was here. Which tells me that you're never going to replace Nombe with someone better in this transfer window that's upcoming. Therefore, I can't see any way that it's going to work. I think you're absolutely right. I think Wickham, first game of the season, we caught them, we scored in the second minute or something, didn't we? And then it went downhill for them from there.
There's something about 25, the stat, like something like 25% of our goals this season were scored in the first 5 minutes of that match or something. Something like that.
There's some... That was a game that you're like, okay, this is working. And then we had a couple more games living off the glory of that game where we got points, but very quickly
right at the beginning of the
away.
season, everyone's working teams are working themselves out, aren't they?
Yeah.
I just don't know if you can hang too much on those.
Well, you
early
certainly
performances.
can't. If he'd had 4 games without a victory,
what I think it does show you is that some of the, like I said earlier, some of the players playing are decent.
Yeah.
Yep. You got to do something about you got to change something, Gary. And it's so annoying to see.
Yeah. I think you're right about the board. I think that's why he's not gone. I think
it can only be that. But like I said, I don't think it makes enough difference bringing in. I think so the plan is we let Caldwell carry on and playing in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
But we've got another striker, whoever that is, someone that we can get in January when it's the most difficult position to sign.
Yeah.
In the most difficult window with hardly any money, and convincing this player to come and play for a team who are in complete free fall, and that all of the fans are kind of chanting for the manager to leave. Does it sound like an exciting prospect to you?
No, we won't. We may get someone. We won't get anyone good. I'll be amazed, honestly amazed.
Yeah.
Because
the weird thing is, right, that like people are going on about would you trust Gary with the money? In a way, I would trust him to buy the players. Because I think he actually signed some good players and discovered some players and got them to come. And I just don't think he can do anything with them once he's gone.
Well, or he just buys the wrong player for the system.
Yeah,
because
I just don't think he can do it. I just don't think he's capable of coaching a team to win. No. I actually think some of his kind of like player identification is pretty good.
Yeah. Now
he signed Dimitri Mitchell.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's my other concern, Dan. Like, you'll have noticed maybe that Lincoln signed a player from the League of Ireland this week. See that?
You told me, yeah.
League of Ireland's a summer league, right? So they can sign whenever they want. They can't play for English team till January the 1st, but Lincoln will have this fat lad training with them now, ready for January the 1st game. We got to be looking at that kind of stuff. Like, we've had some good players come from Ireland. Obviously, Sweeney being absolute landmark signing in like the history of the club since the trust took over. Like, why aren't we? It already seems to me like we're not going to be able to get the people we want. I'm sure we're not. I know we're not. And because why would you? Oh, as we've said last week, I can go to Lincoln or I can go to Exeter City. Well, I'm obviously not going there.
It seems like there's two inevitable options here. Is one that the board just kind of go completely rogue and just kind of like stick with him no matter what all the way to the end of the season, or they stick with him to the January transfer window. We bring some people in, it doesn't work, and we end up sacking him in March.
Yeah,
and then getting relegated because it's too late. The new person is, someone's got to come in. We're in an even worse position, and they can't sign anyone, and we're doomed.
Yeah, and like inevitably, like there'll be this kind of hand wringing of like, oh, mistakes were made. But why are we perpetuating more mistakes? We're just adding mistakes on mistakes. Like, it's what's the word? It's just bad stewardship of the trust board. No, sorry, the board, of which the trust is part of. That it's fine to say we made mistakes, fine, and you did. Someone somewhere made mistakes by selling Nombe or not getting someone in. We know that. And presumably also some circumstances caught you out, Luke Harris or whatever. That's not enough of a reason to stick with that mistake to the bitter end.
Well, it's just not only that, is it?
No.
If you think that's the only problem, then I think you've got it wrong. It isn't that. We're not performing. It's not just missing that final end product. We're not performing. We're performing like a team who's never going to win another match. It's appalling. It's terrible to watch. The players look completely demoralised. Now, Caldwell said in his BBC interview after the match that it's fine that for the fans to be calling for him to go.
Yeah.
But he said it was a small minority, which I don't think is strictly true, but you would say that. And then he said he insinuated he hasn't lost the dressing room. That and that if he does, he'll be the first one to go and resign.
Well,
but how long can that go on for? What are these players? This kind of ties into, well, do they not care then? Because what about this are they buying into? What about this do they think, oh no, we're doing all right, this will be fine?
And, like, Exeter City, again, trust era, has kind of prided itself on producing decent humans as footballers and having decent people here. Like, you can't put that on the players to have to cause a ruckus with the manager or be dicks about it. Like, that's not their responsibility. They're doing what they're asked to. Teacher can't be like, well, I may be a bad teacher, but until the kids kick my head in, I'm staying.
Yeah, of course. And also, why would they're not the ones that necessarily would or should care.
These are young men.
Young men trying to do their job who've only been here for, most of them have only been here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's madness.
The supporters are the ones who do care and have been here their entire lives.
Yeah.
Sometimes for decades. That they're the ones that are going like, we don't want this anymore,
No.
So why is it we're not listening to you, but because we're listening because the players think it's sound? It reminded me of when the players all wanted to wear red shorts, and I was thinking, no, hang on, it's not up to you. They're all gone now. Those red short people,
sad.
Apart from a few of them.
Yeah, I thought that was stupid. I honestly thought that was stupid. Now, listeners, you've probably seen the photo of him stood in Coolings at 1 a.m. on Sunday morning rather. Seen that one, Dan?
I have seen that.
Some people are like...
I thought it was a bit of a faux pas to be going out on the town if you've lost, just generally, from kind of like accounts from like ex-pros. Maybe that doesn't quite apply at this level, and it's not like he was clubbing.
No.
He's gone for a pint. But would you not just like get some cans in if you're kind of like, you've just had to shouting... they wanted you to be sacked? Would you think, might steer clear of town tonight? Get some tinnies in and just get pissed at home.
In the way, I kind of admire him because I think, like, you know, he's a tough old boy, isn't he? To kind of front that up.
I wouldn't do it.
No, neither would I. But I wouldn't be a football manager. But he.
Would you not? What if they offered it to you, me and you? Like,
I mean, it couldn't be any worse, could it? Literally couldn't be any worse.
no, I think we'd be better.
I'd say, Nicky or Jose, get your boots.
I think I'm at all capable of being a football manager. I still think we'd be better.
Well, I mean, it genuinely couldn't be any worse. By the way, we're not touting for the job here, but anyone listening to this podcast, all right,
give me the job.
Send the CV in. Taggy@ecfc.com.
You think Tisdale wore some outlandish things on the touchline?
Wow. What would you wear first? Town Crier's outfit I'd go for and take a big bell.
I'd wear
That'd show
hot
'em.
pants. And one of those, but mix that up with one of those managers, old-fashioned manager sheepskin coats.
Good.
But I'd have it open so you could see that I was wearing the hot pants underneath.
You wearing a t-shirt as well, or just
City shirt?
Skin and pants, City shirt.
Is that allowed?
As long as it's a different colour to what they're wearing on the pitch. Yeah. So you wear the away shirt.
Yeah.
I'd wear the trust
and
shirt.
then loads of big gold chains.
Wow.
Loads of them.
Round your neck.
Yeah, and wrists and all that. And then just really kind of like put the cat amongst the pigeons.
It certainly would. Okay. Yeah, I go full Town Crier.
Right. Okay.
I hear ye, play up from the back.
Right.
Hear ye.
With a bell.
Yeah, Watts is on penalties, that kind of thing. Hear ye, referee's a moron. You know,
Caleb
nothing.
Watts on pens.
Hey,
What's happened to him? Caleb Watts. Where's he?
I imagine he's staying out of the way if he's got any
injured?
sense. Yeah, he's injured. Yeah, hamstring.
My word.
Oh no, that's Musgrave, isn't it? Hamstring. Watts is side strain, I believe.
All right.
Anyway, that's the state of affairs. We're going to talk about what we might do in a minute. Hear ye, welcome back to the Big Bang Theory podcast. But not enough Morris men around anymore either. That's the other thing you could do. Go full Morris man.
No.
No, right.
Absolutely not.
If you want to email us, you can. BigBangPod@gmail.com. We're on Twitter @BigBangPod. And on Facebook as well, Big Bang Theory Podcast. If Elon Musk's done one too many things to annoy me, it's this. Now everyone has to say Twitter or X.
No, don't.
Well, no, I haven't done, but I have now.
Completely ignore him.
Right. So, if they were to sack him, which they ain't doing.
Well, just quickly on that.
Yeah.
We've had Bolton.
Yeah.
Everyone expects us to get tonked, and tonked we were.
Yes.
After that, we had these kind of like break periods or whatever, and then we had Shrewsbury at home.
Yeah.
And,
Winnable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Port Vale at home.
Winnable.
So we had these two games.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we got 1 point out of that and not a single goal. So we passed another point there.
It's like
because next is a load of very, very unwinnable games.
Yeah, right. So Stevenage Saturday away, who are flying.
Third in the league, Stevenage.
Steve Evans, Stevenage, knows how to win a game. Oh, I've just realised his name and the name of his club are basically the same.
Yeah.
Steve Evanages.
So yeah,
it's caught up with that.
Steve Evans. Yeah.
And then it's
Pompey. No, Wickham.
Boxing Day.
Day.
No, Cambridge before that, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Cambridge on the
away.
Friday. Then Wickham Boxing Day. Then Portsmouth the following Tuesday. Then Reading New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Some winnable, but some real hard ones in there.
What's winnable out of that? Would you say
Well,
Cambridge away?
Cambridge and Reading, in
Yeah.
theory. If we were a normal team operating in normal ways, I think there's some points to be picked up out of some of those.
Yeah.
And you'd say Wickham at home in theory,
Yeah.
but can't see it. Portsmouth and Stevenage, I fear. I mean, what's even the point? I've noticed because my concern is, it's a bit like. No, I'm not going to say that. But you know when there's like conflict in the world or problems in the world, and everyone says exactly what they think about it, and they hate it. So the war in Palestine or the war in Ukraine, you're like, this is our standpoint on it, and then nothing changes. And there's kind of pressure to keep saying stuff because you're like, well, I still care about this. And otherwise, into the void is the impression, oh, people have stopped worrying about this. And it's the same with this, obviously in a much lighter way. Everyone's had their say. It's very clear what most people think. And yet I can feel the club thinking, well, people obviously aren't as bothered as they said they were because we've not heard anything. You know, well, partly we've had the game and we all booed like mad. Or a lot of us did, a lot of people did. And then, what do we do? Like, comment on it, be mad and comment on every Facebook post and say Coldwell out? Because you can do that, and some people have been driven to that.
Yeah.
But then that's affecting your mental health, which is stupid for a thing you're just supposed to enjoy.
I know. It's such a strange position to be in.
Yeah. So there are things that can be done. We were just pondering this earlier. So some people are talking about whether to get the vote through the trust process. Get a kind of proposal together.
Yeah, I think you need like a kind of minimum of 200 people to call a.
It's kind of an extraordinary meeting, isn't it? I think, which you could do, but I'd imagine the mechanisms won't make it a quick process. I mean, obviously, like in normal life, a board doesn't want to be bothered with 200 nutters, so I get why they do that.
Yeah.
But this is 2,000 people who feel very strongly. I mean, it's probably, if we're honest. If we take the fan base of Exeter City to be 20,000 people with either a full interest or a partial interest in the club, I wouldn't say it was at all outlandish to say 12 to 15,000 people very much want this to change.
It doesn't sound like a small minority to me.
No.
Hard to get this data in it, I suppose, but yeah.
But people have done surveys, people have, everything I look at. I know people don't want to get a load of grief for saying, I think you should stay, but... And then, so you could do that. People could stop coming to the game, but why should we? Like, it's our place.
Yeah.
Other clubs in the past have done weird protests, which get attention. Walkouts, marches to the ground, tennis balls on the pitch. All legitimate forms of protest. Probably the club ends up getting fined if you do something pretty weird.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about the pitch invader.
Oh, yeah.
A boy ran onto the pitch.
Yeah.
And for a second I thought, oh, is this some sort of political statement about the club? Not is he going to have a Coldwell out T-shirt on or something?
Yeah.
Nah, just ran on, smiling like a
loon, yeah.
Worst
invasion since...
Well, it was funny because when you see pitch invasions on TV at football matches, the stewards run on and tackle them, don't they, and get them.
Clobber them.
Whereas the stewards just watched him and sort of let him...
Game was fully in progress at the time.
Didn't stop the game.
Well, in fact, one of the players for, who were we playing, Port Vale, got booked for taking his time to take the free kick because he was trying to point out to the ref that said invader was invading.
Yeah. And then he sort of just kicked himself off in the end. And then the steward sort of grabbed him. He was like, oh, you do it now.
Is it like when you treat a toddler, like you just ignore them?
Yeah.
Doing something mad, you're like, I'm just going to ignore that.
I think it worked. Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, so, I mean...
My other thought is...
I don't think we're quite at that... I don't think we're quite at that stage yet. I think some people definitely are.
Yeah.
But I think we're probably still a couple more losses away from kind of any kind of like... like you saw the difference, like I said earlier, about the difference between the vocal... unrest between the
weeks apart,
Shrewsbury game and the Port Vale game, and it was kind of noticed. It was a very noticeable difference. A lot more people shouting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it would only take probably a couple more games for that to kind of intensify.
I mean, Dan, can you imagine the rage? Can you imagine? I've been refreshing my phone like mad to try and get some news. None coming. Can you imagine everyone's rage at midnight on the transfer deadline day when we haven't brought in the quality of player that supposedly is going to save our season?
Yeah, but
I feel sick already thinking about it.
I know, but I don't think it'll be that. I think it'll be like I think we will have got people in, but I think they'll be like, and then we'll have to wait and see. They're not going to be like, oh wow, we've re-signed Jamie Reid from Stevenage, someone who's scored a load of goals this season. No, it'll
be no one we've heard of.
Exactly. So it'll be kind of like, all right, okay, well, someone they don't know they've got a very good record, but you never know. Oh, Stockley didn't have a very good record when he came in. Norway didn't have a very good record when he came in.
They played with Lampard for England under 12s.
Yeah,
they'd probably be a bit old by now.
So I think that's what will happen.
Oh,
Um,
I feel queasy at the thought.
yeah.
It's flipping annoying. It
I just feel like I've been a bit like kind of let down. To be, you know what I mean?
I feel like we've been a bit played.
I get why they've gone with. I mean, in hindsight, you look back and you go like, why have they appointed this guy in the first place? He does the same thing at every club he's at.
I think,
but
yeah,
I get what they've gone for, because they've gone like, no, we do things a bit differently here, which is like, on the one hand is true, and on the other hand is a little bit kind of like self-righteous, isn't it? You know, and it's a bit like, okay, give a guy a chance. You know, probably, you know, he might have learned a load of things. You know, like look at someone like, I don't know, Gareth Southgate wasn't that good, and then he did quite well for England, didn't he? You know, something like that. Like it was always getting a bit of a risk because you're not getting Klopp in, are you? Do you mean or Guardiola? But I just kind of think now he's like, oh, well, this is just when it starts going wrong, you got to hold your hands up and go like, yeah, okay, we tried something here and it didn't work, and so quickly let's just nip this in the bud. Now, who knows? Is that to do because they've foolishly given him a weird long contract that we can't get out of? Because I think that really would have been quite stupid to do, given his record.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I don't understand this.
He should have been someone who's agreeing to those kind of things, to be perfectly honest. And maybe you did, but if you don't get offered them, why would you? You're not going to bring it up, are you? If you're Coldwell. Oh, by the way, shouldn't you put a break in this contract? Because I am usually quite shit after a couple of months. You know,
No. I mean,
let's say he gets sacked.
Yeah.
Who can we get?
Okay, let me just say this one thing first. I am always amazed at football, given that every football manager ever gets sacked, right? Yeah. I am always amazed that you don't just have, here's a contract for a year.
Leicester sacked Ranieri.
Yeah, exactly. I am amazed that we don't have your contract's for a year, like the players are. Your chance of getting a longer contract relates to the direct success that you get. Now, I know that means the manager goes, but they go anyway. We're such a small fish in a big pond that the minute any of our managers get offered a good deal, off they go.
Tisdale aside.
So, yeah...
Give the man some credit.
They're fine, but there's occasional compensation.
How many people are coming round to the fact that they actually wouldn't mind Tisdale coming back now?
I mean, honestly, I'd take him in a second at the moment.
I know. You wouldn't have thought you'd been saying that, would you?
Would not. No,
well,
even 6 months
ago. But like...
He'd come back as a Morris man.
Only if it happened to be on Vogue
okay.
that time.
Anyway, who are we going to get?
Well...
For this mysterious gap.
The answer is no one good, because there's plenty of available managers, but they would obviously all be very expensive or wouldn't want to come.
I've identified one.
You're big... Go on then.
Well, I think the Cowley brothers. Like, I know we're a bit like, the Cowley brothers.
Well, they're annoying, aren't they?
Well...
As people.
I mean, all managers who aren't yours are annoying, pretty much.
That's true.
They've had some success. They haven't been snapped up by a bigger club. They're not going to set the world alight. But
so
actually,
most recently they were at Portsmouth, weren't they?
Yeah.
And then Portsmouth were on kind of a bad run and got sacked. Right? But it wasn't like it was nothing compared to Coldwell's run.
No, it was nothing. It was like 5 games.
I think they were like, I thought they were like 15th or something, or 12th in the league or something. Like
yeah.
Sacked, yeah.
So and they've had other success at other places beforehand, and you just feel like.
Well, Lincoln, apart from when we battered them in this playoff semi-final, but then they went up automatically that year after that, didn't they? So
it's
Well, I suppose. I mean, this is again. I don't know. The one I think maybe they're too expensive, but maybe not. Maybe their position in the pyramid is about us right now.
I think that would be a step up for us, to be honest, because Tisdale was no one, and Matt Taylor came from within, and then Coldwell was obviously on a downward spiral.
Oh yeah, it's not something we would normally do.
No,
we don't normally pick up kind of name managers, but that's usually because we can't afford to. And I still would be sceptical whether we could afford Cowley, but possibly.
Well, I mean,
yeah, possible. It is possible, isn't it? You know, and.
What if we said to him, well, can you come to the end of this? Like, if Coldwell got sacked today, he's not, by the way, listeners, much as we might refresh our phones, and you asked him to come in till May, that might well be attractive to them.
Yeah. You got people like Mark Bonner, haven't you?
Yep. Mark Hughes, he would be too expensive, I'd imagine, but he's our level.
Be too expensive.
Stuart McCall, similar level, not much success, but also not much failure. We're at the point now where we're staring relegation square in the face. But it's such a terrible league in terms of, yes, we're the worst performing, but we're still outside of the relegation zone.
Yeah.
No one below us is picking up points.
And like I said, I think we've actually got the basis of a decent squad
Yes.
that could play in a different way as well.
Yes.
And if a new manager came in now, they could add in a couple of bits
Yes.
just to kind of finish off the kind of like, they could look at who we got and go, okay, I reckon I could do like a different thing here. All I would need was a player like this, a player like this, and a player like this, and then I reckon I could work with that. Because I think they're good enough. And I definitely think they're good enough to survive relegation.
Yes.
With a couple of tweaks.
Yes.
Obviously, we need strikers, and it's 4 players. Probably someone to replace Mitchell as well,
Yep.
But I think I'd just be more comfortable with giving it to someone who had a bit more of an idea than giving it to Colber, who just seemed hell bent on playing in this exact same way.
And we've said this
adding in some
Yeah.
striker from Scotland.
It's been weeks and weeks and weeks where we've said, who would come here? Anyone that's any good isn't coming here, because what a miserable place to turn up to.
Well, yeah, you got the whole main stand chanting that they want the manager gone.
We'll pick up someone. Here's what will happen. We'll either pick up a lone player,
Yeah,
or someone who's absolutely down on their luck. And we've already had Wildschut, and we've already had Caleb Watts, and they were...
James Scott.
And James Scott. Well, he didn't come as a... Oh, he was
came
down on
very
his
much
luck there,
down
wasn't
on
he?
his luck,
yeah,
yeah.
but I mean, he wasn't like post-transfer window closing. Do you know what I mean?
No. But I mean, but he was, yeah.
Yeah,
but
he
a
was...
similar sort of profile of player.
Absolutely. And is there anyone left like that? Because if that's who we identified in September, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flipping terrible.
Didn't Scott come in last January?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a bit bad for him as well. He got like
Oh, I
massively
feel bad for
booed
all
when
of
he
them.
came on.
I feel bad for all of them, Aimson included, because there's good players. Aimson was good for Bolton. He's been good for us at parts. Aitchison looked exciting at certain points. Rankin looked great before we got in. And they're all just part of this absolute sinking shit.
You know, like Tom Carroll. Like Tom Carroll just does one thing, and if everyone around him is playing well and doing their jobs right, it's quite. And you're playing that system. He's a very valuable part of that. Even playing exactly how he is now, which is just shuttling the ball from side to side, just providing an option, and then someone else does something with it. But he's not someone who's going to make anything happen.
No.
So you need someone else in there to make something happen, and that isn't happening.
No, nothing's happening. Right, well, Stevenage Saturday.
A lot of talk for nothing happening, isn't it?
A lot of talk.
And I got toothache.
Yeah. Coldwell induced, no doubt.
Can't have helped.
Can't have helped. Thanks for listening, everyone. Good luck with all your feelings this week. Hope you can cope. We're just about coping here.
Stick a Christmas film on.
Stick a Christmas
Take your mind
film
off
on.
it.
Do take your mind off. That's the problem, innit? Everyone will stop caring. Or not, we all care, but the attendances will just fall through the floor because why are you putting yourself through it? It's not cheap.
No.
You're going with your family, £100, isn't
You
it?
could be going to Christmas market instead, couldn't you?
Only for 2 more days.
Have a glue vine.
What's a glue vine?
Isn't that what they call? Isn't that mulled wine?
Oh, is it?
Only for 2 more days.
Saturday. How many days is that?
Always closes early, doesn't it?
It does close early.
I've never been. I have, but I've not been this year. It didn't go last year.
Yeah.
I've not even looked at it. There's nothing for me there.
It's not you're not its target audience.
Why not? I live
Do you
here.
like wood-turned items?
Not especially.
Do you like gluttonous drinks?
Not especially. I only really like 3 drinks.
How do you feel about embroidered maps?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, there's one thing for you.
Right. Of what?
Devon.
How much? Is the thing.
Yeah,
How much are they?
20.
Steep, innit? Last time I went round there, I remember thinking, oh, look, there's a chocolate camera.
Yes,
And then I thought...
I'm off.
I'm off, yeah.
Yeah, I have to walk through it every day for work, and let me tell you, it's right in the way.
Yeah, but the people are enjoying it, aren't they?
Moving very slowly throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do that. Maybe do that. Don't take your eyes off the prize, though. Don't go Christmas market. Stay in and go mad online. You know?
Yeah.
Keep the faith.
Keep the faith.
Keep going
posting.
mental. Don't stop.
Don't never stop going
Don't
mental.
do anything else with your life, because otherwise the board will take that as apathy.
No, they'll take it as thumbs up.
They will. They will go, look, they don't care. They're a small minority. They're going to the Christmas market. They're getting a huge, suspicious-looking sausage. They're getting a snow globe.
Yeah.
You got them?
Yeah, I'm sure they have, yeah.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Um,
I know they've got bags of fake snow.
Yeah. What's that for? Oh, just doing up your garden.
I don't know what it's for.
Doing up your garden.
Yeah.
Christmasifying your garden.
Christmasifying. I don't know what the word is. Yeah, that. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back after Stevenage for more misery.
Yeah, look forward to it. The irony of a former Exeter City striker scoring against us.
I weep. Thanks for listening, everyone. My name's John. Been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.